Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian Families collection. Today's video is another top 10 and this time it's my favourite vehicles or modes of transport, and this covers all modes of transport: land, sea, river, any of the ones you can think of. Following the same format as the top 10s I've done recently, I've picked out 10 items from the range as well as 3 honourable mentions. Again, this was a tricky one, as when you start looking into it, there's quite a lot of different modes of transport, more than I could remember off the top of my head. So let's start at number 10 and count them down. At number 10, I've selected the Flair era pony and caravan. This was released here in the UK in 2004 and I think was a UK exclusive. Now this particular set reuses an older mould. So there was this red and green version that came out in the Tomy era, 1989 here in the UK, and there was also in Japan a special Misty Forest colourway with like a Pegasus horse, and it was kind of more pastel, again from 1989. We unfortunately never got that version outside of Japan, I don't believe. But for me, I really like the colourway from the Flair era. I didn't have the Tomy era version, so there's not really any nostalgia there for me. And I just think the wooden effect with the nice red roof is really pretty for this particular piece. What I like about this piece is that it's a mode of transport but also a caravan, so there's room enough inside for a family to live. Love that it comes with the built-in stove and the worktops, the table and chairs, and then there's space for beds as well. There's ladders, there's windows, steps. It's just a really cool piece. I like how it folds out. At number 9, I've selected the Tandem bike and baby trailer. This set came out in 2012 here in the UK, and again I think it was a UK exclusive. It came with the Keats cat auntie and 2 little standing babies, a boy and a girl. I was looking at all of the different bikes in the range and there's a lot of bikes. Close second to this was the Cycling with Mother set, which has a pretty red bike with a basket and a baby seat. But what I like about this one is there's 2 seats on the bike. It's obviously a tandem bike, so you can fit 2 family members on there. And then in the trailer, there's also 2 seats for the babies. So there's just a little bit more room to have more of the family on the go. You can also detach the trailer from the bike and just have it as a tandem bike and have the trailer as like a pull-along piece. I also think the flags on the trailer are super cute, so I opted to pop this one into the list. At number 8, I've selected the pizza delivery bike. The concept of a pizza delivery bike has come in a couple of different sets. There was the pizza parlour set from 2009 and also the pizza delivery bike set from 2015 that came with the hedgehog father in a special outfit. The one that comes to mind for me is the pizza parlour set, as that's the one I have in my collection. Actually, I have both of them now, but that's the one that I've had in my collection for a longer time. But really, they're quite similar in their designs and quite interchangeable. They both have the kind of moped with the big square box on the back that you can fit the pizzas in. Having a takeaway delivery service for the village is a bit more modern than I usually like to go for. I really like the kind of vintage feel and vintage vibes. However, I also really love takeaway pizza, so this one gets a free pass from me because takeaway pizza is so good and the Sylvanians deserve it too. So that's why this one's at number 8. It's just really, really cute, especially with the little uniform or jacket, depending on which set you're looking at. For number 7, I've picked the Urban Life car. This was a Japan release in the Urban Life range in 1988. It also saw an eventual release here in the UK in 2006 and it was rebranded as a wedding car. What I love about this car is it looks so classic, so vintage, like those very first cars, kind of 1920s vibe to it. I love the kind of staggered seating. I love the really high steering wheel to match with that. I like the colours. It's got rubber on the wheels, which is a nice attention to detail. I just love the aesthetic of it. I think it really fits that urban life Sylvanian vibe. I really, really hope that the little toy car that came in the newest Biscuit Bear set and looks just like this car is going to lead us to some sort of re-release of either this car or one very similar to it this year. So keeping my fingers crossed for that. Coming in at number 6, I've selected the Fish and Chips van. This was released in the UK in 2012 and I think was a UK exclusive. However, Japan did get this vehicle, definitely the mould for it and this colourway, in 2011. However, it was an ice cream van in Japan and not fish and chips. Here in the UK, we then of course got an ice cream van separately but in a white colour. The good old fish and chips van is a staple of the British seaside. There's quite a nostalgia to it, so I think that's why it's placed so highly for me. I love the Sylvanian iteration, I love the colour, I love the stickers and the decals. I love that it comes with Finley Osborne in his little fish frying outfit. It's got tons of accessories, all the different things you'd be able to get from a fish and chips van. It's got all the fryers, it's got all the branding. Just really, really fun piece, nostalgic for me, and I just love it. At number 5, I've gone with the Car and Caravan. This was first released into the UK range in 2009 and then had a couple of very slight variants of colourway. I'm not sure if this did get a release in Japan or not, so I couldn't find a date for that. I'm sure I've seen it in Japanese shops though, so I don't know whether they kind of reverse imported it over to Japan, but I'm sure I've seen it there. If anyone knows any more information on that, please feel free to pop it in the comments. This is again another British staple for me, the classic Caravan. You don't see them as much these days, but when I was a kid, definitely, whenever you were driving anywhere to go on holiday, bank holiday, summer holiday, there was always caravans on the road, particularly this very classic kind of 1950s shape. Absolutely love it. The car it comes with is such a pretty green colour, the version that I have in my collection and the one I'm thinking of. Kind of a bottle green, really pretty vintage looking car, again kind of 1950s vibes. The Caravan itself folds out and it's got so many clever little pieces in it, like the shower and the toilet that pops out. It's got an ironing board hidden in a cupboard. It's got a whole kitchen set up and a whole kind of lounge that folds out into a bedroom. Just the design of it is really, really cool. It looks great open, it looks great closed. Just such a great piece. Lots of play features for children, lots of photo opportunities for more adult collectors. Just a really great all-rounder. At number 4 is the Town Series Tram. This came out in Japan in 2017 and here in the UK in 2018. I love this piece. It's such a great idea to have this tram that goes along the town. It feels a bit Disneyland-esque, kind of Main Street vibes. Love the colour, love the design. And until Sylvanian Families gives me my dream of a steam train and carriages, this is the next best thing. It looks great in photos, especially in front of the Town Series buildings. And I also like that you can convert it into a shop, so you could have it static. And I think it works with the flower shop and also the gelato shop. So that's a fun feature. You can either have it as a mode of transport or as a static shop, like it's been converted. I like the dual functionality there. As far as I can remember, this is the only train type piece in the range as well that isn't a toy or a playground thing for the children, like an actual functioning transport piece. Before we get into the top 3, let's review the honourable mentions. So my first honourable mention is the pink picnic wagon. This came out in Japan in 2020 and here in the UK in 2021. Is this the most detailed car we've ever had in the range? No, not particularly, but I do love the colour. It's my favourite colour, pink. So that's scoring it some points for me. But I also like that, like the tram, it's got a dual functionality in that you can make a mobile business with it using some other sets. So you can make it into a bakery. You can also use it with the new patisserie shop to make it into a kind of mobile patisserie. So I like that about it. It wasn't quite enough to tip it into the top 10, but I still think it's a very nice piece. My second honourable mention is the camper van. Bearing in mind there was already the Pony and Caravan and the Car and Caravan on the list, this one just didn't quite make it into the top 10, but I still absolutely love this piece. So it first appeared in the range in 2012 here in the UK, and there were 2 colourways, a kind of teal and a yellow. And then just very recently in 2023, it's had a re-release in a new colourway, and that was in Japan, and it's also come over here to the UK now in this lovely blue and white colourway, which is the one that I have in my collection. It's a really lovely piece. Again, it folds out and has a kitchen, a kind of seating area that can also double as a bedroom. It's got sleeping bags, got lots of cooking accessories, really fun piece, and the new iteration comes with pretty much all of the accessories the older versions came with. The only thing missing is a bike rack on the back. And finally, my third honourable mention is the pleasure boat, or the Marita May. This is a UK exclusive released by Flair in 2009. I don't think it was in the range for very long either, so it tends to be a bit harder to find these days, especially with all the pieces intact. I don't have this one in my collection, but it's one I probably would like to add at some point in the future if I found it for a good price. This is a more modern boat, really fun design. Again, it folds out and there's lots of room inside for the family to kind of be living. Very detailed, lots of nice accessories. Looks good open on display or closed. It just isn't quite my favourite boat in the range, and that might be a little hint at what's coming up in the top 3, which we'll get onto now. So coming in at number 3, I've put the motorcycle and sidecar. This is a UK exclusive from 2010. I love this. It's another one with a really kind of vintage 50s vibe. It's such a pretty piece. Love the details on the motorcycle. Love the sidecar. It also came with the Mulberry Raccoon grandparents, and they've got these cute little goggles and hats or helmets. It came with some road maps so they could be working out where they're going. I just love the design of it. I just think it's such a pretty piece. It looks beautiful in photos. Imagine it's a lot of fun to play with as well for younger collectors. For me, this is a really iconic piece of the Flair era, and the details on it are just beautiful. At number 2, I've put the Canal boat. This first appeared in the range in 1993 and was a UK exclusive. 3 different colourways over the years. I've tried to pop pictures of all of them here, starting with the Rose of Sylvania. Then I think it was the Rose of Sylvania 2, and then Grace. And just recently, in 2021, this set got a re-release in the original Rose of Sylvania colourway. That was in Japan, and it's also come to the worldwide official stores now. This for me is an absolute icon of the Sylvanian range. I can still remember the stop motion television adverts from the 90s with the otters and Captain Sea Dog. I absolutely love this piece. The one in my collection is from my childhood, and I remember having so much fun playing with it. It's such a pretty canal boat design with all the intricate patterns on it and the colours. The colours really remind me of the Rosie and Jim canal boat. I don't know whether other countries got Rosie and Jim, but that was quite an iconic 90s children's TV show over here. Obviously set on a canal boat that looked quite like this one. Most recently, canal boats have had their day again in the new Wallace and Gromit film, Vengeance Most Foul. If you haven't seen it, oh, it's so good. Really, really enjoyed it. Canal boats again featuring prominently. Just another quintessentially British icon, which I think is why I'm probably so nostalgic for it. Practically, it looks really pretty on scenes. As I mentioned, it was a lot of fun to play with. It's got similar kind of living quarters to some of the other ones I've mentioned on this list. There's a kitchen, there's a shower and toilet, and there's also bunks in the bedroom that also turn into seats in a kind of living room situation. It is Tomy era, so it's a lot simpler than some of the other ones we've had on this list, but I think its beauty is in its simplicity. It's also got lots of fun bits on the roof, like a washing line, and there's a fishing rod. There's a little crane for winching things over onto the boat. It's got the rudder at the back, which can be steered. It's got some lovely hanging baskets. I could wax lyrical about this set for hours, but I'm going to stop there and just say it's a really great set. And finally, at number 1, I have selected the Country Bus, another icon of the Tomy era. Beautiful Route Master style, 1950s, 1960s, vintage red bus. I love this. Again, I had this in my childhood, played with it all the time. Got just such a beautiful design. This first appeared in the range in 1992 here in the UK and was again a UK exclusive. It got a re-release in the Flair era with slightly different stickers, more up to date for the shops for that time. And then it got a third re-release in a brown and cream colourway and was called the Woodland Bus. But my favourite has to be the original iconic red with all the advertisements for the businesses at that time. So there's one on there for May Blossom's Florist Shop, there's one for Mr. Webster's Dairy, there's Babblebrook Soap, for the village store. There's another one as well which escapes my mind just now, but I really love the kind of vintage style adverts on it. Iconic look, double-decker, plenty of seating so you could take lots of Sylvanians on an outing. And then the best part is it also has a slightly convertible feature. It's got an awning that pulls out and a picnic table that stows underneath it with picnic camper, so they could go on a picnic outing and set up a picnic table and all the goodies that go with that. Iconic set. And that brings me to the end of the list and also the end of the video. Let me know in the comments which your favourite modes of transport in Sylvania are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.